家好，我们今天在 London Air 的总部 Richmond, BC。在我的旁边，这位帅气的先生，他的名字叫
Dylan Thomas。
他是这公司的 Operation Manager， 还是直升飞机的总经理。How are you doing today?
Good. How are you today?
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about London Air.
London Air Services is a charter company. We provide charter airline and helicopter services based out of Vancouver, British Columbia at the Vancouver airport. We provide a lot of services. We provide companies that want to take business people to meetings, individuals that want to take a family trip or a golfing trip or an excursion, whether it be in the helicopter or in the jet. We provide aeromedical services with organ transplant. We provide disaster response for companies when they need to get a group of people somewhere very quickly into a remote location, or even just to a very important event that they need to get their company to.
So tell us how many charter jets and helicopters do you guys have?
We operate a fleet of 8 jets and 3 helicopters comprised of 3 Challenger 605s, 3 brand new Lear 75s, and 3 AW139 helicopters.
And how is your company different than any other company?
We're different. We're the largest commercial operator here for private jets and charter jets in Vancouver. We're different because we own all of our own aircraft. All of our aircraft are built to the same standard. We have a very high safety requirements and safety standards. We're part of a larger company, and so we get the support of that. We're part of the H.Y. Louis group of companies, a company that's been in operation in Vancouver for over 100 years, and we're part of what's called the London group of that company. And so we're London Air Services, also London Drugs, which you might know, and of course we own a resort called Sonora Resort.
Wonderful. Yes, they're very well known to most Vancouverites.
Yeah.
And we understand that you guys charter a lot of interesting clientele. Could you at least share with us some type of the clientele you service?
Yes, I can't give out any names because we have a very strict confidentiality rules, but we take care of Hollywood celebrities that might be up here doing a movie shoot. We'll take care of that. We take care of royal family for different countries that are in town. We take care of just individuals that want to go on a family trip, or a business group that wants to go on a trip, or we just take a group of people golfing for the weekend.
And how expensive is it? Because when we see these in movies, but how affordable is it for everyday people?
The cost is variable. Some of the longer trips can be expensive because we are going a very long way. But some of the shorter trips, especially when you fill the aircraft, becomes very economical. For example, we have a summer special where we fly our Lear 75s up to places like Kelowna, Seattle, anywhere on the island, and it's the same cost as going business class. So at Air Canada, if you were to go to Kelowna to go to wine tasting for the day, it's just around $3,000 for the aircraft for the day, with taxes and whatnot. So that becomes, if you fill the aircraft with 8 people per person, that's actually cheaper than going Air Canada.
Wow, that's incredible. And have you chartered some Chinese clients before?
Yes, we do have a large clientele from China that we take care of. Sometimes they come into Vancouver commercially on aircraft, and then they need to go somewhere in the province, maybe for a meeting or something, and it's just more economical or more cost-effective time-wise to go up on our jet. So we'll take them to a meeting in Prince Rupert or to the Kelowna, or as far as Calgary, and we'll go across the country if needed. We also take some people. We've got a lot of Chinese clientele that like to golf, and so we have a place where we often go to on the weekends, Bandon Dunes, down near Portland, and no other operators can operate down there. There's no commercial flights to Bandon Dunes. You can't book on Alaska Airlines, so they'll book the aircraft down for the weekend to go golfing. We have one client that books 8 weekends a year and goes down with his friends and his wife.
That must be nice.
It's a beautiful spot to go golfing, and we work to your schedule. So if he wants to leave Friday night after work, we take him down Friday night. He plays around the golf on Saturday and Sunday. And when he's finished golfing, he tells us when he wants to come home because we work to his schedule.
Right. I read in your brochure that you guys service a lot of business executives. So can you tell us a little bit about the features on your planes that are suitable for that?
Okay, one of the big features for business people is time. When you're a business person, your time is very critical, and sometimes the airlines their schedules don't match up with what you need to do. So we have a lot of clients that will take our jet for the day and do a multi-city trip. They will go and maybe stop in Calgary, maybe stop in Winnipeg, and then come home by the end of the night. So their time is better utilized. Also, if you're doing a longer trip or even a small trip, we have Wi-Fi on board the aircraft. And also with your group of business people on board, you're able to use that time on board to have a meeting because you're private. There's no other people listening in your conversation. You can have a private meeting. So what happens is the time that's used during the flights is actually productive time as well, not wasted waiting for security checks, waiting for an airline check-in. You can show up 15 minutes before the flight and we'll be airborne on time.
Dylan, tell us, what kind of coverage area does your company provide?
Well, with the helicopters, we can cover the province of BC. Also, the smaller jets can cover the province of BC quite easily. But with the larger jets, like this Challenger 605, we can go anywhere in the world. This aircraft itself this year was just in Europe. We have flights to Asia. We've got a flight to another trip to Europe shortly. It's just a matter of how far you want to go, and we have to do a few stops along the way for fuel. But Asia is not too far away for us. It's a one-day trip.
Wonderful. And well, this is really a premium service. So how is this different than flying commercial airlines?
It's a big difference in flying commercial airlines. First of all, it's private. So you have the aircraft to yourself. You don't have to share with anyone. And it starts from the very beginning. When you first book the flight, we take your catering requests. So we cater the aircraft to what you want on board, what food. This larger aircraft has a flight attendant. They'll contact you what movies you want on board. We'll preload the iPads so you have movies for your group. The aircraft have Wi-Fi on board, so if you want to bring your iPad or computer and do some work, you can do that. Like I said, with the flight attendant, we have catering throughout the flight. And also on the larger aircraft, we have the ability to set up, we call them jet beds. So this aircraft, we can make 6 beds, lay flat beds, and some of our customers will take this aircraft, just a couple or 4 people do a long trip, and they'll sleep through the night while the aircraft's flying and not waste their time.
Wonderful. So you wake up refreshed, ready.
Wake up refreshed, and you don't waste that travel time losing your business. You can fly through the night, wake up refreshed, and ready to go. It's a nice, quiet way to travel.
Wonderful. And how many helicopters do you guys have?
We have 3 AW139s. They're all exactly the same. They're 12-seat aircraft. We use them predominantly for the resort that we service, Sonora Resort, but we do a lot of other charter work around the Vancouver area, going to mine sites. We go to real estate sites. Some of our real estate people will ask, they'll have investors in town, and they'll want to take the investors to the property and show them what the property looks like. And sometimes we'll even, they'll have us fly up and hover up to the height of the top floor and show them this is the view from the penthouse of the future building to be built. So the investors get a good idea of what they're actually purchasing.
Wow, that must be a spectacular view from the 17th floor.
It is a spectacular view. The helicopter's got big windows, and they can do their business. They're all on headsets talking to each other. They'll often have the plans of the building out and the maps of the area. We fly for the province. We fly along the highway sometimes, looking at intersections and what land will become of value when they build a new highway.
And I understand there's a 2-hour turnaround, so if people really need to fly out of here in an emergency, 2 hours, that's all they need?
We have a crew on call 24 hours a day and an aircraft ready 24 hours a day. We do a lot of disaster response for companies. If they need to move a group of people to a location due to an emergency, whether it be a train derailment or a fire or just a problem with the company, we'll have a crew available within 2 hours. If you're traveling into the States, the 2-hour requirement comes in because the U.S. government rules for pre-notification of the customer traveling across the border.
I understand your clients sometimes handpick the stewardess as well as the pilot. That's the kind of relationship. Can you tell us a little bit about the customer service?
We have very high customer service standards. We come from the London Drugs family, and London Drugs specializes in customer service, and that comes into our company. Our flight attendants on board our aircraft are actually London Drugs employees. They are typically 15-year customer service focused individuals, and they fly with us part-time. And a good example is on one of our trips, the family started calling the flight attendant grandma, and then on their layover in Hawaii, one lunchtime, the couple went out for lunch together quietly, and the flight attendant went to the hotel and she babysat the kids. And so that's a level of customer service that we provide.
Wow, that's amazing. You definitely won't get that at Air Canada.
No, no, not at Air Canada. And the flight attendant will contact them to see what movies they like, what kind of foods the kids might like. Because if it's a long trip, and you want to keep the kids quiet and happy.
So very customized service.
Very, very customized service. And we'll take care of arranging the limousines at either end, the hotels if needed. We'll take care of all of that, so it's just seamless travel.
Wonderful. Now, I heard that 9/11 actually impacted a lot of the airline business. How has it impacted London Air?
London Air has actually got bigger since 9/11. As the government puts more rules and regulations and makes flying harder with longer check-ins and more security requirements, people come to us because we have the same security standards, but the people we fly are known. We know who's on board the aircraft, we know who you are and all your guests, and we will pre-file that information with the US government or the Canadian government ahead of time. All the clearances are done ahead of time. So as the bureaucracy has made it harder to travel commercially at the airport, our business has increased. And every time there's a new restriction of liquids on board the aircraft, we get more phone calls.
How many staff do you guys have at London Air?
We have 25 pilots to provide 24-hour coverage. We have 7 engineers, and we have 2 dispatchers to provide 24-hour dispatch coverage. It may sound like we have not very many engineers for a fleet this large, but all of our aircraft are maintained to the Transport Canada standard. Actually, we go above that. All of the aircraft get sent back to the factory once a year for their annual inspection down in Wichita, which is unusual. Most companies don't send the aircraft back to the manufacturer, but we want to make sure that everything is immaculate and perfect on the aircraft. And our maintenance staff here take care of the daily stuff, the post-flight checks and the pre-flight checks, where they'll check tire pressures and clean the aircraft. They can do heavy maintenance, but most of our maintenance is done at the factory.
And how often do you guys switch the planes?
Well, we have the newest fleet in the country. Our Lear 45s left us in December, and we got Lear 75s. So our Lear fleet, the oldest aircraft came to us in January, and the newest one came in February. The Challenger that's just across from us is a year old, and our oldest aircraft is 5 years old. And we like to renew our fleet because the technology changes. Wi-Fi is now available, and people at this level of service, they want the latest and greatest, and that's not old aircraft.
Right. And your helicopter, I hear it's Italian and top of the line.
Yes, it is. It is top of the line. It's from Milan, Italy. It's a Gusto Westland 139. We've got 3 of them. They have the highest safety rating in the helicopter industry, and they are the premier aircraft. Most world leaders are getting rid of their older helicopters and moving into AW139s.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for introducing us to these wonderful planes and your business today.
Thank you very much.
感谢收看今天的大温故事，我们下期再见。